Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Another Saturday, another game day, and here we are at Broadwood Stadium. You'll see the stadium just over my shoulder there. Today's game, massive game at the bottom end of League One. It's Hamilton Academical versus Kelty Hearts. It is the very definition of a relegation six-pointer. Massive game and could go an awful long way to deciding the final standings and the relegation spot at the foot of the table. So stay tuned. We're going to do all the usual build-up, pre-match stuff. We're going to get into the game once it gets underway, and then we'll do the summary at the end of the game. I'm Kevin, and this is Broadwood Stadium. So here we are folks, as usual, the aerial shot of the stadium. This is Broadwood Stadium, which is in Cumbernauld, which is where Hamilton are playing their home games this season. Hamilton itself is actually about 15 miles south of here, so about 15 miles that direction there that I'm looking at the moment. And the reason they're playing their games at Broadwood in Cumbernauld is because of a dispute with the owners of New Douglas Park, which is their own home ground, where ironically Clyde are playing at the moment. So I've been focusing obviously on it being a difficult season for Kelty, but it's been an equally difficult season for Hamilton. So they've had to deal with that dispute. They've also had 3 separate points deductions from the SPFL for various reasons, mainly due to financial irregularities and things like that. So I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on all of the ins and outs of that. I'm not going to get into it too much. What I really want to do is focus on the events on the pitch. So I'll swing round just a little bit and you'll see there, there's the stadium there. And the main thing I think today is whatever happens will be decided on the park. Quick look at the league table and you'll see there this is exactly the season in a microcosm here. The bottom 2 teams in the league separated by 6 points. Massively important game here for both sides, but mainly this is make or break for them here today. Win and they close that gap back up to 3 points, give themselves a little bit of a lifeline. Lose and it's effectively game over. There's no way they are catching Hamilton with a 9-point gap. So that really is what it's all about for Kelty here today, is winning on the pitch and giving themselves at least a chance to try and prolong their season a little bit longer. One thing worth mentioning, it is quite windy here today. I don't know if you can see the drone blowing around a little bit, and as you can see the stadium, the corners are open, so I'm quite sure that will have some sort of impact on the game once it gets underway. So just a quick look at the head-to-head then between these two sides. They've played 12 games over the years, including cup games and friendlies. It is heavily skewed in Hamilton's favour. They've won 6 of those, Kelty have won 3, and there have been 3 draws. One thing worth noting is Kelty have never taken a league win against Hamilton, done okay in cup games and in friendlies, but they've never taken 3 points against today's opposition. I think we've already established that has got to change today. They really need these 3 points, so they need to be able to do something today that they haven't done in the past, and that is win against Hamilton Academical. So huge game in prospect, as we've said already, and we'll be getting ready to kick off just shortly. So just a little bit of team news, if you can hear me over the music. A couple of changes for Kelty today. There's no Jack Bryden in the squad at all, so I'm assuming he must have an injury, and James Graham drops to the bench. So not quite sure how the team is going to line up at the moment, but I'm guessing it's going to be something like Kyle Gourley in goal, a back 4 of Alistair Davidson, Craig Clay, Sam Fisher, Dylan Corr. Midfield, I'm thinking, is probably going to be Alex Ferguson, Innes Murray, Luke McCarville back in, Aaron Pettifer back in, Ross Cunningham probably sitting in that sort of deep role, and I'm assuming Lewis Moore will be the lone striker again. But I will check once the game gets underway. We can see how everybody's lining up then I'll have a better idea what the formation looks like, and just give him my best guess as it stands at the moment. Just one other bit of squad news, I guess, for Kelty. I spoke to Callum Flatman a few minutes ago, and it looks like he has resumed full training after being out all season with an ACL injury. I don't think he's expecting to be back playing this season, but he has confirmed that he's definitely going to be here again next season, so that's a huge boost. He was one of your best defenders last season. He's been a big miss this season. He has been back doing some light running and things like that the last few weeks I've seen him, but today he is back in full training. So yeah, a little bit of good news on the horizon for Kelty, but I guess that's probably something that's not going to impact him this season. It'll be next season again, I think, before we see Callum back out on the field. Yep, so if you can still hear me over the stadium announcer, I think it's about 15 minutes to kick off. We'll be getting underway just shortly then. Kelty will be wearing their away strip, the blue and white strip. I'm expecting Hamilton to be wearing their traditional red and white home strip. So game just underway here, just a quick catch up on that team news. As I mentioned earlier, it does look like Craig Clay has dropped from midfield back into the defence, but he's playing kind of on the right hand side, almost as the right back position, and Sam Fisher is playing in the left back position, so a wee bit different to what I'd expected. Midfield is Alex Ferguson, and it looks like Aaron Pettifer is sitting deep as well. We've got Luke McCarville on the left hand side. We've got Lewis Moore over on the right, Ross Cunningham playing in that sort of number 10 position, and number 10 Innes Murray looks like he is playing as the target man up top. So a wee bit of a change for Kelty there. Hopefully that sort of formation suits the side, and we will see if we can come up with some goals from that starting 11. Just one other thing worth mentioning, it is, as I said, quite windy, and just where I'm sitting here behind the goal on the north side of the stadium, it's absolutely freezing. The wind's blowing right through the gap between the stands, so I think it is going to affect the game a little bit. I'm sure the high balls will be getting blown about just a little bit, so I guess it comes down to which team adapts to the conditions better and quickest. Hi folks, just a quick update. We've played about 20 minutes here at Broadwood. It's still 0-0. Kelty have had a decent enough start. Hopefully you can hear me okay. The wind is pretty strong, and hopefully it's not affecting the microphone too much. Like I say, Kelty have been pretty good in this first 20 minutes or so. On the front foot, created one or two half chances. There was a shout just a couple of minutes ago for a penalty kick. Luke McCarville, good run into the box. Now I'm sitting probably about 10-15 yards away from where he was, and I could hear the contact quite clearly. Luke did the honest thing. He stayed on his feet, tried to carry on. The ball went out, went behind for a corner, and one or two of the Kelty players were asking the referee why he didn't give something for that. You could definitely hear the contact. I think if Luke had gone down, then the referee would have definitely had a decision to make. But I think in this instance, nobody wants to see a player dive in, absolutely not. But in this instance, had Luke gone down, then I think he would have had a legitimate claim for a penalty. As it stands, it went out for a corner, and Kelty weren't able to take advantage of it. And so, like I say, the score remains 0-0 after about 20 minutes here. So folks, hopefully you caught all the action there. Opening goal has come on 34 minutes, and it's come for the visitors, for Kelty Hearts. Some good play down the left hand side, good ball retention. Luke McCarville and Innes Murray linking up quite well. and Innes firing the ball into the 6-yard box, and it was Aaron Pettifer there with the touch. It was a really good ball into the box. It just needed the simplest of touches from Pettifer. He got there before the defender and poked it away into the back of the net. So I'm just looking, it's a free kick to the other end for Hamilton. So Pettifer, is his first goal for Kelty? I think it might be his first goal in a Kelty shirt. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but nevertheless, it's a huge goal here. Massively important goal, just about 10 minutes before the break, and it makes the score Hamilton Accies 0, Kelty Hearts 1. Hi folks, so that's half time here at Broadwood Stadium. Teams have just gone off to the dressing rooms and it's 1 each here. Kelty were looking really good in that first half, right up to the very last minute of the half there. Just a defensive error between Dylan Corr and Alistair Davidson let Ollie Shaw in. Easiest goal he will score all season long, just a tap in following that defensive error. So a wee bit disappointed at that. Disappointed's maybe an understatement. But I think Kelty have been doing pretty well. Apart from that, they were playing with a bit of confidence and a wee bit of swagger. Luke McCarville, I think, has given them something up top. And I think having Lewis Moore over on the right-hand side and Innes Murray going through the middle seems to have, it's a much better dynamic. I think it works a little bit better for me, certainly from the evidence of that first half. They've left themselves a wee bit of a mountain to climb again. They've got to do it all over again in the second half. But I think I've seen enough in the first half to suggest that they have definitely got something about them this afternoon to try and go again. The observant of you might notice I've had to put my jacket back on. It was absolutely freezing in that first half. I was sitting over there behind the goal there. It's nice and sunny and very bright, but the wind is absolutely bitter. It's okay where I'm standing just now. I've got a little bit of shelter, but I'm assuming down that end I will also have another cold half in prospect. Got that to look forward to. But half time, like I say, here at Broadwood, and it's Hamilton Accies 1, Kelty Hearts 1. Well, what a start to the second half. Ross Cunningham there, putting Kelty back in front in the first minute of the half. His second goal since returning back to the club. It was just there was a good wee bit of play actually on the right hand side, but it looked like the chance had actually gone, and then it fell back to Ross on the edge of the box and just fired it low into the corner, the keeper's right hand post, before running over to celebrate with the Kelty fans. So what's that? Second minute of the second half. Kelty back in the lead. Hamilton Accies 1, Kelty Hearts 2. Well folks, full time here at Broadwood Stadium. The game's finished, Hamilton Accies 1, Kelty Hearts 2. First win of 2026 for Kelty in the league anyway, and only the fourth win in the league all season long. Couldn't have come at a better time. I think we'd said before the game this was a must win, and the squad duly obliged. I thought it was a really good performance from Kelty, with just that one defensive mistake on the stroke of half time being the only real blip. I think most of the squad played very well. I thought Luke McCarville coming back in after being out injured, I thought he was excellent in that first half. And Ross Cunningham, I thought the way he took his goal was exactly what you would expect from Ross. And I think that right at the start of the second half probably just gave the side enough lift and enough energy just to see them over the line. Hamilton certainly gave it a good go late on. They threw everything at it. And Kelty did drop a little bit deep at times, but they did enough just to see it over the line. And a valuable 3 points narrows that gap at the foot of the table back to 3. I think all it really means just now for Kelty is giving them a chance. It's certainly not a job done. They can't afford to take the foot off the pedal because there are still some big games to come. But I think for today they can certainly be proud of the performance, and they've probably done just enough for now to keep them in the hunt in this relegation battle. So full time here at Broadwood Stadium, it's Hamilton Accies 1, Kelty Hearts 2. Hi folks, so here we are just doing our usual Sunday morning wrap up before calling it a day for this video. I think looking back at the game yesterday, I think Kelty will be pretty pleased overall with the way the game went for them. I think the changes in terms of personnel seemed to work quite well. Having Innes Murray through the middle was a good shout. Allowed Lewis Moore to be a little bit wider, and cutting in from wide areas I think is always just that little bit more effective in that type of role. And equally on the other side, having Luke McCarville back in the side gives them that little bit more energy. I think Luke he's the type of player who drives at defenders and commits them. And I think he was a real good addition to the side yesterday. All in all, I think with the exception of the lapse in concentration at the goal, just that wee blip right before half time with the goal they conceded, apart from that, I think overall Kelty will be pretty pleased with their day at the office. And the most important and the most pleasing aspect of that is going to be the 3 points, which just brings them back that little bit closer to Hamilton, closes the gap down to 3 again at the bottom. So not out of danger by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly I think that will give them that little bit more belief, psychologically a bit of an edge going into the last few games. I think a defeat yesterday would have been pretty much curtains for the season, but that win at least gives them a little bit of hope and keeps things moving forward. Still some difficult games to come, of course, not least of which is next time out at home to Queen of the South. Queen of the South, I think, are a wee bit of a surprise package. They've gone a little bit under the radar this season, but they're going very, very well. They're sitting there in 4th, and I think they will fancy their chances in the playoff slots. So yeah, next week is going to be tough again next Saturday at home. Yep, so I think that's probably it for this video. Just the usual thank you to everybody who's taken the time to watch this video and any of the previous ones. If you haven't seen the previous ones, there will be a link in the description, along with a link to the photo gallery from yesterday's match at Hamilton. So for this video, that's probably a wrap, I think. I hope everybody has a great week as always, and I will see you again next weekend.